You're such an asshole.
AssholeConsulting.com. Had to do a little bit of research for this one because I am trying to enjoy the decline and stay out of politics. All right, the damn sun's in the way of this. And there we go. Hey, Aaron, what are your thoughts on the new tax plan that just passed? I hear the new tax plan prevents most except those in high-income tax liberal shithole states and property owners. What? I hear the new tax benefits most except those in high-income liberal shithole states and property. Yeah, that's because they limited the property tax, or not property tax. Well, the property tax the deduction is one thing, but the interest deduction. So it's, if you have, you can only write off up to the $750,000 purchase price of a home. The rest of that interest doesn't apply there, and how that disproportionately affects leftist places is that you have your rich coasts like your New Yorks. Well, and then housing prices just go up because of, take a look at Portland where they, oh, we're going to do smart growth, so that, you know, anytime leftists get in it, it makes things more expensive. And then they brag about our housing prices are so high. It's like, yeah, it's because you fucking regulated the hell out of it. I think even in San Francisco, you have to recycle half your house if you tear it down. Anyway, short version is all these enclaves of rich elite liberals, Seattle, Washington, well, Washington, D.C. too, Portland, all of the California coastal towns, New York, all that, except for maybe Florida. Those are, you're not going to get, you got a $2.2 million mansion in Maryland. Oh, too freaking bad for you. You only get to write roughly a third of the interest off. So that's how it's hitting the high-income liberal shithole states. Not necessarily the whole states, but definitely the property owners. I left Massachusetts and brought my e-com business with me to Vegas. The savings on state income tax alone pays my living expenses for the year. Oh, yeah, easy. From Massachusetts to Vegas? Absolutely. And I'll probably end up becoming a citizen of Vegas within about 2 years or so, if not South Dakota. But I do like Vegas a lot. How does the tax overhaul affect you as a business/property owner? Well, the property owners, they're doubling the standard deduction. So for a lot of people, if you have a particularly cheap mortgage, your mortgage interest deduction, you're just going to take your standard deductions. You're not going to be itemizing. A lot of people, oh, I can't itemize anymore. It's like, yeah, because you got a larger standard deduction. The amount of cluelessness, oh, it's hurting us. It's like, no, this does not hurt a lot of people. Even the tax rates, like the income tax, the liberals can't complain because they typically make high income money. And their tax rates are going down on that end, so whatever they might have paid more in property taxes is not affected. So property owners, 98% of the people, it's not going to have much of an effect. Business owners, well, let's read your next thing here. I'm currently LLC and not sure whether to keep it or change to an S Corp or a C Corp to take advantage of the new corporate tax rate. Well, there is a thing for pass-through entities for the LLC. And you'll probably want to have a CPA because I know you didn't give me individual numbers. And I don't want them, none of my business. Maybe hire Chad Elkins, CPA. But you may want to hold on to your LLC because what they're allowing for now is a 20% income deduction. Meaning, let's say you make $100,000 on your LLC. Normally that passes through to you, that full $100,000, and then you pay your individual income taxes on that $100,000. What the new tax law allows is you get 20% to write off of that. So you only pass through $80,000. You only pay taxes on $80,000. That 20% is no longer taxed. So that's, and I got to make some moves myself. I got to start switching everything over to the LLC because that way I get that extra 20%, and that's worth my time. But to answer your question more specifically, I'd have to look at your situation, and I'm not the guy to look at your situation. Chad Elkins would definitely be the guy. But I do know if you have an LLC, yeah, you're currently an LLC, chances are you're going to want to keep that and look at this 20% deduction. We don't really look at it. You just, it's there. It's a given. And maybe keep most of your stuff in the LLC. Also, what are your thoughts of the current housing market in Vegas? I'm contemplating buying, but thinking about waiting for the next recession. Do you see home prices falling again anytime soon? I wish I did, but I don't, because the housing supply, I just looked at Vegas last year. Housing supply and inventory supply is not as bad, anywhere near as bad as it used to be. Prices are just as high. Price to rents are just as high. But that's nationwide. In Vegas, that's still one of the few places that price to rents makes sense. In other words, meaning that if you were to rent out your house, the rents would cover the interest and mortgage and all the operational expenses, repairs and maintenance. In other words, you can basically get a free house having somebody else pay for it. But if you're there and you're permanently there, I was there no more than 3 weeks ago. They're building a shit ton of stuff. And I was looking at different places. And depending on where you want to live, you obviously don't want to live on the east side or the north side of Vegas. Just stay the fuck away from that. Holy shit. Drive down Lake Mead Boulevard, go right or east from the interstate, and just take that all the way to the mountains where it ends, and you'll be like, holy shit. But Henderson, there's this town called Anthem. Okay, that's a little pricey. When they have a ton of waterfalls in the middle of the desert, man-made, of course, then you know there's a little bit of money out there. Wait, I'm contemplating buying, but thinking when next. Do you see home prices falling again anytime soon? Currently splitting rent with a friend for a 3-bedroom house in Green Valley. We each pay $650 per month plus utilities. Can't really complain. Yeah, that's pretty cheap. That's pretty cheap. I have a good chunk of coin and different cryptos that could be put down. Multifamily, probably the smartest way to buy. Yeah, I convert those cryptos into something tangible. Just weighing all my options and how to structure all this tax-wise to keep my earnings. I expect crypto value to grow over the next few years, so waiting for the next housing crash, if one is expected to happen, could be to my benefit. Decisions. Anyway, if some of this is too much for a video, I'd love to buy you a cigar drink next time when you're in town, but still want to pay for a video for anyone else who's wondering. Yeah, let's get together for a cigar. I'm coming back to Vegas at the end of the month. But to answer your question, that's cheap, man. $650, and as long as you ain't got a family, that brings in another aspect that really doesn't have much to do with, oh, what's the price to rents ratio? What's the cash flow? If you're just chilling out for $650 a month, that means you're saving a ton of money. You're banking a ton of money. And I would just build up the cash to pay for a house outright, or cash, or like a huge down payment, 50, 60, 70% down payment. And then it's almost moot. In other words, you're living really cheap now. Your best bet may just be to build up more and more money. And yeah, prices might go up. You know, that's fine. But if you build up a large enough down payment, well, all of a sudden, I'm still surprised how cheap, because I come from a higher expensive housing market in the Twin Cities. But if you're from Massachusetts, you know that those houses out in Vegas are relatively a lot cheaper compared to where we came from. So if you're getting a lot of money, you're just bringing it in. Yeah, you might have to pay a little bit more in price in 2 to 3 years from now. But if you can knock out a 40, 50% down payment on a mortgage, and you're a bachelor, how big of a house do you need? You know, there's a ton of condos you could buy even going up. Find something under the 200s, put $100,000 down, boom. There, you could barely fuck that up. So in general, I still like the price levels of Vegas. Of course, it does depend on the individual property you choose. You could choose the completely wrong property and get fucked. But there's enough inventory coming online. I looked at price to rents last year. It's, you know, as long as you do some basic homework, you'll be all right. And as long as you don't get greedy, like, oh, you got to live in fucking Anthem or Summerlin or one of these fancy private gated communities. But yeah, you should be fine as long as you get something small. And hell, if you're willing to be a roommate now, you can have a roommate later. So go buy yourself a 2-bedroom condo, maybe a 3-bedroom house. There's plenty of these retirement homes, second homes that you could buy, rent out to your buddies. Shoot, you're not even, and you're still maybe not making cash flow on it, but you're getting darn near close for living for free. And then after 5, maybe 10 years, you kick your buddy out because the house is bought and paid for, and you got a house bought and paid for in Vegas, so you're good to go. And then you sell it to some retiring Gen X schmuck like me 20 years from now for thrice the profit, and then you go and move to the next Vegas, wherever that may be. But man, yeah, I do like Vegas. So since your corporation's there, you're there, you're living cheap, just keep an eye open. That's what I would do. Maybe go look around right now. Just keep an eye open, crunch some numbers. You may find, and here's another thing. This is the thing about property. It's all individual to the individual property. You might find a house tomorrow, like you go call a realtor, oh, holy shit, look at this deal, and it compels you to buy. But I wouldn't necessarily be in a rush either. I still like the idea of living cheap, saving your money, put a huge walloping down payment, or pay for a property outright in cash. But drive around. Go south by the Silverton, Henderson, Anthem. What's the other one? It's immediately to the west of Anthem. It's another development. The south by, was it Blue Diamond or Blue Mound Road? The southwest part of Vegas going on out to Pahrump. I like Summerlin. My favorite cigar lounge is in Summerlin, but the prices are like, whoa, hey. Woo. But there's a lot of places if you're willing to drive around, do a little exploring. Shoot, go to Zillow, see what's out there. But yeah, long term, I do like Vegas's prospects long term. Housing prices could collapse. You lost 50% of your, who cares? It's all about cash flow anyway. And you're not selling the day after. So, but yeah, in general, I'm pro Vegas, but it's fairly priced. It's fairly priced. I wouldn't say it's bubbly just yet, but based on rents, you're going to pay near full price, and that's okay as long as the cash flow works. But keep in mind, after you buy a place, you don't really care what the value of your house is. It's what's your cash flow. Am I saving money that I would have had to be spending on rent otherwise? That's what I think people mistake with housing. So, all right, I hope that helps out. You guys got questions. Captain's got answers over at assholeconsulting.com. We'll see you guys later. Toodles.